welcome to Resolutions. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, press that bell for the notifications, so every time we upload a new video you'll be notified. I do really appreciate everyone's support for this channel. It's been something I've wanted to do for a long time, and I've finally started doing it. So yeah, real big thumbs up to all my subscribers. And like I was saying, if you do like this video, just leave me a like. If you don't, press the dislike button. Hopefully you don't dislike it, but if you do, tell me why, and tell me why I can improve it next time. Today we're going to be looking at the BMW R1250RS. This is an absolutely fantastic bike that BMW produced. It's a bit of a sports touring motorcycle. You've got a nice upright riding position. The seat is ridiculously comfortable. Lovely, gorgeous seat on this one. It's got a nice comfy seat for the pillion. Got a couple of grab rails here, and you've got some bolts here for your luggage. Okay. Now also down here we've got pillion foot pegs, so you could easily take a pillion on this bike, no problem at all. And I think 2 people on here would be a really comfortable ride. Now this is a keyless motorcycle, so it makes it nice and easy. You haven't got to put any keys in. You just press the button which turns the ignition on, and then you press your start button. Really simple. On here you've got your SOS button. You literally flick up the catch, put your button in, and I'm guessing someone at a BMW place will give you a call to your mobile or send somebody out to this bike. So that's quite a nice little safety feature to have. Also, if someone finds you on the roadside, I guess SOS, you can't really mistake that. Press that and some magic will happen. Now the engine that BMW put on this is a 4-stroke flat twin double overhead cam. It's got the boxer at the front, which is really nice. You give that a little rev and you can actually feel it really starting to throw the bike a little bit. It's not overly intrusive. It's quite a comfortable ride. Now the gearbox on this is a 6-speed manual gearbox. It's got a shaft drive terrain, which is the first shaft drive I've ever driven, and it's comfortable. This one does have a quick shifter up and down. Now I've driven several bikes with quick shifters, and this has to be the most aggressive quick shifter, you could say. It's quite clunky. You pop it up a gear and pop it down a gear, and you really feel the bike jerking, which I'm not too keen on. I've ended up using the actual clutch lever quite a lot. Now the clutch lever on this bike is adjustable. You've got several different positions, and also on the front brake you've also got your adjustable positioning for your front brake lever. That is a nice touch. It comes with the BMW satellite navigation mount, so you can plug that in. It's got a key there to lock it in place, so it reduces the chance of it being stolen. However, I'm sure if you were to park up somewhere, you just unpop it and take it with you. The windscreen on this bike, it is a 2-stage windscreen, so you can actually push it down and it goes quite low, and then you can just literally pull it up and it shoots the air out up and over. Now I've had this on both positions earlier, and I've got to say that the upright position, it really does reduce the amount that the wind hits you in the chest to almost nothing. You can't feel anything in your chest, which is really good. It goes straight up and over your head, and for a wind deflector it is really nice and comfortable. Now when it comes to the power of this bike comes in at 136 brake horsepower, and that is at its 7,750 RPM. So you've got to open it up a little bit to feel it, but believe me, when you open it up you do feel that engine and that power really starting to pull. Now the torque on this one is 143 Newton meters at 6,250 RPM. So it's a little bit lower down on the torque, but they work quite well together. They're very close, and it does push the bike along the road quite well. You get out of sticky situations quite comfortably with the power and the torque that this bike has. Now the max speed of this bike, BMW claim it will do over 125 miles an hour. That's all you're going to need. If you're on the German autobahns, that speed it's going to be pushing itself to its limits. So for the UK roads, you're looking at your cruising motorway speed of 70 miles an hour. it will handle that all day long, nice and easy. It has got cruise control. Now I have activated this cruise control on this bike, and as soon as you flick it on, it's fantastic. You can just ride, sit it on the cruise, and you haven't got to worry about up and down the throttle all the time, getting the achy wrists on long journeys. You can shake your wrist out a little bit, and that is a nice added feature for this bike. Now when it comes to the fueling for this motorbike, BMW state that you should put nothing less than 95 RON in the tank, and that's pretty much standard across the whole board for all motorcycles. The higher the octane rating, the RON rating, the better it will be for the engine. So don't go to your cheap supermarket fuels for this bike. Keep it all nice and tidy. Now on the clutch for this bike, it is an oil lubricated clutch, and it's actually hydraulically operated, which does mean it's a very, very light clutch to use. I've had no problem riding it at all with the clutch. It's a nice comfortable clutch. Now when it comes to the tyres on this bike, you're looking at a front tyre of 120/70 and a rim size of 17, and at the rear you've got a nice big fat 180, a 55, and again 17-inch rim. So it's kind of standard for big bikes having a 180 rear tyre, which is it looks nice from behind. You've got a nice big fat wide profile, which is again a nice I've got a powerful bike status to other people. The windscreen, I don't know if you could actually change this for a darker windscreen, but it's quite nice having the see-through. You can see in front of you, but like you're going to be sitting up here anyway, so if you did change it for a darker one, I think it would just set the front of the bike off quite nicely.
So this is my first impression of the BMW R1250RS. I've been riding this for a few moments, and straight away you can feel how comfortable this bike is. This bike is unbelievable. It's got a boxer engine, it's quick shifter up and down. The quick shifter is quite aggressive, so I'm using the clutch a little bit here and there. Now the wind mirrors, they are quite small, however for small wind mirrors the visibility you get is actually quite good. On this bike we've got some heated grips, BMW standard heated grips. There's two settings on this one. I've got it on number 2 at the moment. I presume that's going to be the hottest setting, and my hands are nice and toasty at the moment. I've got no issues with the cold hands. It's not the hottest of days today, so having the heated grips is actually quite a welcome gesture. Right, so we'll take this on a few twisty roads to start with, and we'll see what the handling's like. The seat comfort is extremely comfortable. I don't think I've sat on a motorbike, let alone ridden one, with a seat comfort as good as this. This is phenomenal. It's got a boxer engine. It does pull very nicely, and it's a nice additional feature to have the quick shifter, but it's quite an aggressive quick shifter. It's quite jerky. I've ridden with a few quick shifters recently, the Honda VFR 800F, the BMW S1000R, and they all seem to be very, very smooth on the quick shift. This one's quite jerky, maybe because it's a boxer engine and not a V4 straight inline 4. Let's see what the downshift is like. Yeah, the down is a very, very jerky quick shifter. I have to turn those heated grips down a little bit now.
Now sitting on this motorcycle, I'm 5'7". It's got a very low seat height. This isn't the lowest one. So when I sit on this, I'm completely on the balls of my feet. This is a nice flat ground that I'm on at the moment, and I've got no problem at all putting my feet down. One foot on the pegs, the other foot is completely flat-footed. So personally, I don't think I'd want a lower seat height than the standard one this comes with. I think it would be too low for me. However, if you do want both feet completely flat on the floor, then yeah, if you go for the lower seat height, you are going to be very, very comfortable. To actually operate the side stand, you got to use the heel of your foot and just get it under the side stand, just push it forward. Because you've got the pegs just in front of the side stand, you can't just put the ball of your feet onto it and push it down. That did take a bit of getting used to. The upright positioning of this bike, as you can see, it's really comfortable. My back is pretty much straight. There's no extra like lean in the arms. I'm not stretching too far. I've got a nice bend in my elbow. The leg positioning, this is really comfortable. I've ridden this bike for about an hour and I haven't found any problems with that at all. So it is a very nice, comfortable riding position. And like I'm going to say in the video, you can ride this bike all day long, and I don't think you're going to have any issues with it whatsoever. Now the front brake on this bike, you've got twin floating discs, and they are 320mm 4-piston radial calipers, and the stopping power of those, they're fantastic. They are Brembo brakes at the front, and at the rear you've got a single disc, a 276mm double piston floating caliper, and that is, again, it's for what I've ridden in the past, this is probably the best rear brake that I've ever found on a motorcycle. You tap it and you do come to a stop quite nicely, so thumbs up to BMW for that one. That is a really nice rear brake. Now this does have ABS, BMW's Motorad integrated ABS, and that is, I'm guessing, in an emergency you wouldn't have any issue operating that, so that's a nice added safety feature for the bike. Now the seat heights for this bike, BMW do 3. The first one is your 840mm, and that is your sport seat. The second one down is the 820mm, which I believe this bike has at the moment, and then you've got your lower seat height, which is your 760mm, and that is going to be your lowest one. And well, if this one is 820, the 760 I am really going to be low and flat footed on. So yeah, if you're different heights of your riders, BMW cater for that. Now the weight of this bike coming in fully loaded is 243 kilograms, which is quite a heavy bike in all fairness. A lot of the sports bikes are all under the 200 kilogram mark, and a lot of the other bikes are just pushing over the 200 kilograms. So coming in at 243, it is quite a heavy bike. Now you can feel that when you sat on the bike and you start leaning side to side, you really can feel that weight starting to pull the bike over. So it is nice that it's a low seat height and you don't feel like at any point you're going to lose the bike unless you do lean quite far forward. Now if you were to drop this bike, you got the cylinder heads sticking out either side of the bike, so I don't know if this has got crash protection on it. I can imagine BMW put some sort of reinforced cylinder heads, so hopefully if you do drop it, you're not going to end up cracking the engine case and losing your oil all over the place. So I'm sure there are some optional extras you can get to protect your engine. Now the permitted total weight that this bike can carry is 460 kilograms. So me coming in at 90 kilograms on top of your 243 is going to leave you enough weight for a second passenger on this bike quite comfortably. So the weight power of this bike is spot on. You're not going to have any issues taking two people on this bike, especially with extra luggage. With the pannier section you can get for these bikes, you are going to be looking at a nice payload. The fuel tank on this bike is a 18 litre fuel tank, and it's got a reserve of 4 litres, so it's quite nice to know that if you do come into your reserve, you do still have a decent amount of fuel to get you to your nearest petrol station. It does have a fuel gauge on there. It tells you your range to your nearest to your empty, so that is a nice added feature, so you never go get cut short like a sports bike would. They just tell you you're running out and you need to get to a petrol station. So it's nice to have that in the back of your mind, that you are going to be getting to a petrol station within the fuel range that you've got for this bike.
So as I'm saying, like the handlebars, they are a nice position. I'm quite upright, slightly leant forward, but realistically I'm quite upright, which is perfect. Just HGV going to see me, yeah. Don't fancy getting wiped out today. The windscreen is adjustable. Literally just pull it. Oh wow, that's made such a difference on the helmet here. That's crazy. I've got no wind resistance in my chest whatsoever. That screen, BMW, well done. That's perfect. I'm loving that. Absolutely loving it. Now we've got a TFT display on this bike. It is ridiculously clear, really comfortable to look at. I don't know if you can switch the colours around so you can have a white screen rather than a black, but so it's a nice sunny day today and I can see that absolutely no problem at all. I haven't had a single ankle pain yet on this bike. I think this is a bike I could ride all day long and not get tired. This is amazing. Now I like the Honda VFR 800F, but I'm sorry, BMW, you've taken me away on this one. I'm loving this. Quick shift, I'm not too keen on it. It's a nice feature to have, the up and down, but it is quite jerky. But the way this bike handles is absolutely phenomenal. Nice Boxer engine. That first time I've ridden the Boxer, the pickup is really good. I can't believe how smooth this bike is. It's so comfortable. That seat is, you could spend all day on this seat and I don't think you would get tired. One thing I've got to do is learn how to, yeah, a little bit more. I've just got to get the body positioning right. Yeah, there we go. Work against the bike, work with the bike. I'm cruising second gear at the moment, 37 miles an hour, and I'm at just about 4,000 revs. And the bike is holding its own, it's not trying to race away from me. The engine braking is really good on this. Slow it down into 30. So second gear, 27 miles an hour, 3,000 revs. The engine feels quite empty at that pace, so yeah, no, it seems good. I do like the upright style of this bike. It is very, very comfortable. There's no strain on your body. You're just effortlessly sitting on the bike, which is really, really nice. Is this a bike you could ride up and down the length and breadth of the UK? Yeah, without a doubt. I could take this bike, I've only been on it 20 minutes if that. I could take this bike from here at Autumn across to Cornwall and then straight up the country. I wouldn't have an issue doing that. I actually really would like to do that. That would be lovely. Nice little adventure. I think this bike is up for about £11,000 from BMW, so it's not overly expensive for a BMW. It's only got, let's have a look through the menus, see what we can find. As for the styling of this BMW, it's fantastic. I really like it. It's got the sporty look that I like in the bike, but it's also got that nice touring style. So like I keep saying, you could take this bike all day long and you wouldn't get bored of it. Now coming to the front of the bike, you got a nice high windscreen, and like I've been saying, this keeps the wind right up over your head. The headlights on this bike, they're nice symmetrical headlights. There's none of this asymmetrical stuff that BMW keep doing on their bikes, so I do like this. As you come down, it does peak itself down really nice. Now I believe these headlights are LED headlights that BMW have produced on this bike. I haven't had a chance to test them out yet. It is middle of the day, so fingers crossed. If you take this bike out at night, I couldn't imagine it would be bad light. BMW should give you fantastic visibility, which is really nice. As it comes down to the front, you've got some nice gold forks which just set the dark blue off quite nicely. You got your reflectors, which again I'm not a fan of, but they're there for safety. You got your RNG crash protection. So the front of the bike is set up really nice. You've got LED indicators, which is always a nice touch because they are very, very bright. However, you're going to get the odd person that doesn't see you somehow. Coming down the side of the bike, you got the BMW logo, the model, the R1250RS coming down at a nice slanted position, which is really, really nice. I think it just sets the bike off in that angry, straightforward, aggressive style. Like I was saying, you got your Boxer engine that sits out nice and proud from the bike. You're gonna, if this hasn't got crash protection, I'm not 200% sure, it feels quite plasticky. You're gonna want some sort of protection over this, because the worst thing is you drop this bike, you're gonna break that and it's gonna cost you a lot of money. Now at the rear of the bike, the exhaust system on here is a nice chrome exhaust. I'm not one for standard exhausts, I think they look big and ugly. However, BMW have really hit the nail on the head with this one. It's really shiny, it's in your face, it says it's expensive, it sounds quite nice when you're on the bike. I wouldn't change this. If I bought this bike now, I would leave that exhaust. I think if you changed it, unless you're going to spend some serious money on a nice expensive looking exhaust, I think you're going to cheapen the value of the bike. It sets it off really well.
Come to the rear of the bike, you've got your grab rails for your panniers. I'm guessing these will clip on some sort of BMW luggage system, and your bolts there. So it's all going to tie in quite nicely with BMW's luggage system. You've got your Pillion grab rails there and your Pillion feet pegs. If I just pop these out, I'll get on the back of the bike and see how it looks. So from a Pillion point of view, this is really comfortable. Nice easy positions to grab hold of the handrails at the back. The position of the feet is very, very comfortable. I don't know if I could do a long journey on this one. You probably end up holding the rider, but for a short journey, an hour or so up the road, this is a very comfortable Pillion seat. Now at the rear of the bike, the rear tail, you've got LEDs in the rear tail light. It's quite a nice angled tail, which does set it off, and the Pillion grab rails just kick it up like devil horns a little bit. So that's a nice little feature. It has not got a tail tidy, it's just BMW's standard tail on this one. Again, comes with rear LED indicators, and that is a nice feature. It does look quite nice on the rear of the bike. Depending on what a tail tidy would look like and how much it would bring that number plate to the rear wheel, I'd be very tempted to leave this tail on the bike, as it does suit the bike very well. The bike is shaft driven as well, like I was saying. The shaft casing is quite nice and tidy. You're not going to have any issues with an ugly shaft drive on this bike. This one has got R&G crash protection on the shaft, which is nice, because if you drop that shaft, then if you drop the bike onto the shaft, you are going to be looking at quite a considerable price to fix it. This bike also has a centre stand, so doing maintenance on the bike, spinning the tyres, giving those tyres a clean, will be very, very simple on this bike.
Oh, that's nice. That display's brilliant. Let's keep it on that. So as we're riding, I can see the engine temperature, the battery voltage, 14.3 volts at the moment, the front and back tyre pressure, so they're both running 2.5 bar of pressure, which is really reassuring to know that you can check your tyre pressure on the run. It's got an oil gauge there as well. I'm guessing you have to keep the engine still for that. It's not just going to show you the oil at any point whilst it's being used. And the one thing I have found about the indicators on BMWs is that they're quite... This guy behind me, he wrenched straight up my backside. Now the indicators on the BMWs, you don't feel like you're clunking and clicking them over, which is you got, well, especially me, I have a double check just to see if I've actually turned the indicator on or off, which is a little bit frustrating, but never mind. Now with the tyre pressure gauge here, you've got your spec for the tyre pressure. So the rear should be 2.9 bar, and at the moment it's 2.5. It actually tells you that you're 0.4 bar down on tyre pressure at the rear, that's quite a handy feature to have. The front one, 2.5 bar, and it's showing 2.5 bar, so that's all good. Service requirement is your next one. And it's telling me that I've got 1,499 miles to the next service of this bike. Hopefully we'll get through the crossing before it closes. I think we'll have to get past these. Oh no, he's turning right. Let's go down this way. What's it like for doing a turn in the road? Pretty comfortable. So to turn the cruise control on this bike, there's a little slider there. You slide it towards the off side of the bike, forward, and it'll set your cruise. So let's go second gear into 30.
Thanks for subscribing to Rev Solutions. Hit that like button and we'll see you next time.